Are you worried that gaming is starting to affect your life? Well, if so, then this video is for you. I'm going to be breaking down the 10 most important warning signs that you need to pay attention to. These signs are easy to spot, but unfortunately, so often ignored until it's too late. And at the end of the video, I'll be showing you how to reverse all of these warning signs. So make sure you stay tuned for that. So a quick introduction, my name is Cam Adair, and after being a hardcore gamer for over a decade, I finally managed to stop gaming and turn my life around. And since then, I started a coaching company called GameQuiz.com, where we help gamers and families get control over their gaming. Now, if you want details on our coaching program, then just head over to GameQuiz.com or click the link in the description below this video. And now let's get into the first warning sign. You are always thinking about video games even when you're not playing. In addiction research, this is called preoccupation. It refers to how your mind becomes obsessed about games even during activities that have nothing to do with gaming. For instance, you're sitting in class but mentally preparing your next gaming session, or you're rushing through meals because every minute away from your PC is a minute you're not playing, or you're lying in bed scrolling through gaming forums instead of sleeping, or you're watching gaming videos during your lunch break. It's like your brain is always somewhere else, always thinking about the next game, the next level, the next achievement. But the real danger with this one is when video games aren't just something that you think about. It's when they're the only thing that makes you feel good about yourself. When they're the only place you feel important. When they're the only place you feel like you matter. Be careful, because when gaming becomes your only source of self-worth, and it's also hijacking your thoughts all day long, that's when you know you've crossed the line. Warning sign number 2. You feel like absolute garbage when you're not playing. This is called withdrawal, and it's your body and mind reacting to being cut off from something they've become dependent on. Here's what withdrawal actually feels like. When you're away from your PC for a few hours, you start to get anxious, restless, or even irritated at everyone around you. You're getting these mysterious headaches. You feel this crushing sense of boredom where nothing else seems interesting or worth doing. And you have no motivation for anything but games. It's like there's this constant itch in the back of your mind, this urge, this craving to get back to your PC. It's like being hungry, but for video games. Now, if you want to better understand gaming cravings and how to overcome them, check the video in the description. But what you need to be watching out for isn't just the withdrawal symptoms you experience when you can't play, but what happens again when you do. Often what happens is you feel super irritable when you can't play, but then when you play again, you feel fine. It's like without games, you're totally exhausted, but when you play, you have a lot of energy and are happy. The reality is, if you need gaming just to feel normal and you feel terrible without it, that's your brain again telling you it's become dependent. Now, I also have a video about how video games affect your brain, and I'll link that one in the description as well. Warning sign number 3, using games to escape from your life. Look, everyone needs to blow off steam sometimes. That's totally normal. But there's a difference between taking a break and completely avoiding reality. Here's what this looks like practically. When life gets hard, your first instinct is to boot up a game. Bad day at work? Play video games. Fight with your parents? Play video games. Anxious about school? Bills piling up? You get the point. Instead of dealing with anything difficult, you just disappear into your computer where none of those problems exist. But the problem isn't that you're getting relief from stress. It's that you're escaping and avoiding. You want to notice how after you've had time to chill, you're not going back to tackle your problems. So instead of relieving your stress, video games are only creating more of it. They've become your hiding place, and your problems are only snowballing bigger and bigger because you refuse to deal with them. So when video games become your default response to any negative emotion, and your stress is only piling up, then you've stopped living and started avoiding. Warning sign number 4, no amount of gaming is ever enough. This is called tolerance, and it's when your brain needs more and more of the stimulation you get from games just to feel the same level of satisfaction that you used to when you were just playing casually. So here's how this happened to me. When I first started playing video games, it was just some harmless fun. I could play for an hour or two here and there, and it was just really no big deal. But as I started playing more, my brain wanted to play more. And all of a sudden, instead of being okay with just an hour or two, I need to play for many hours a day just to feel satisfied. But here's the dark reality of this sign. Eventually, no amount of gaming was ever enough. I could play CS or WoW all day long. I mean, literally 16 hours a day. And at the end of it, I would still want to play more. At this stage, the only time I would stop gaming was when I was so physically exhausted that I would pass out on my keyboard. Now, if you've ever done this, I want you to admit it in the comments. But tolerance doesn't just affect needing to play more hours. It also affects the money you spend as well. You might find yourself wanting to spend more and more impulsively to feel excited about the game, or needing multiple screens when you play. So you're playing a game on one screen and you're watching YouTube videos on another, or maybe Twitch streams. And then between cues, you're doom scrolling on your phone. Maybe some of you are doing this right now. Caught ya. And that brings us to warning sign number 5. You can't control how much you play. This happens because once your brain needs more gaming just to feel normal, your rational mind loses the ability to say no to a healthy amount. You might tell yourself you'll just play for an hour, and then suddenly it's 4 a.m. You might promise yourself you'll take a break after this one match, but then there's always just one more match. You've tried setting timers, deleting your games, or even giving your PlayStation to your parents at night, but somehow you always end up right back where you started, playing way more than you're supposed to. You might have even tried to quit, but your motivation only lasts for a day or two before you're gaming harder than ever. And the scariest part is that while this is happening, you're telling everyone around you that you have it under control. You might say things like, I can quit anytime I want. It's just my passion. Or I'm gonna go pro. But the truth is, when you look yourself in the mirror, you know you can't control yourself. You might wanna stop, you might know you should stop. But when it comes down to it, you just can't. This can be a terrifying realization, but it can also set you free. Warning sign number 6. Gaming is the only thing you care about. Nothing else matters anymore. Think back to who you were before gaming took over your life. Maybe you played sports or had other hobbies that you were passionate about. Think about the dreams you had when you were younger. What goals did you have? What excited you about your future? Well, somewhere along the way, all of that just faded away. For me, that was hockey. I used to love playing hockey, but as I gamed more and more, I stopped caring as much. Instead of working hard in the summer to get stronger, I sat inside and grinded CS. Eventually, I stopped playing entirely and gamed instead. And the same happened with school. Now, I'll admit it, I never really loved school so much. I was still going though, but as I gamed more, school was just something that got in the way of that. So I dropped out and never graduated. While my friends were off to college, I was sitting in my room drinking cases of Pepsi and walking around Azeroth as a night elf. I can't believe how stupid that sounds. Warning sign number 7. You're staying up all night gaming. Maybe you've even flipped your days and nights. You tell yourself you'll go to bed at midnight, but then it's 3 a.m., then 6 a.m., and suddenly you're watching the sunrise through your bedroom window. You're surviving on energy drinks and whatever snacks you can grab, and a couple hours of sleep before you have to face reality. That is if you even have a job or go to school anymore. If not, then you sleep in all day. Breakfast to you is dinner to anyone living a normal life. Your parents have this mysterious zombie living in their home. When you wake up, you feel like absolute trash. Headaches, bloodshot eyes, your back hurting from sitting in a chair for 12 hours straight. And when your parents look at you, you look terrible. Your skin is pale. You've gained or lost weight, and your hygiene has gone to crap. You might not even be showering every day anymore. That's gross, by the way. But here's the worst part. Even though you feel like death, even though your body is screaming at you to be healthier, you still can't wait to get back online. Your body and mind are falling apart, but hey, at least you leveled up and got a new virtual sword. Warning sign number 8. You're lying and sneaking around just to keep playing. Listen, when you start becoming deceptive to play video games, you've crossed into dangerous territory. Usually it starts small. Maybe you tell your parents you only played for 2 hours when it was really 6. Maybe you're saying you're doing homework when you're actually playing Minecraft on another window. Maybe you tell a friend that you're feeling too sick to hang out, but really you just want to sit on your PC at home. You see, at first the lies start small, but then they get bigger and more elaborate. You're playing when you're supposed to be sleeping. You're skipping work because the new season of Fortnite just came out. You're not attending class anymore because you'll watch the lecture online. Yeah, right. And you're probably spending money you shouldn't on some stupid skins that are worth nothing. Some of you have even stolen your parents' credit cards or forged report cards. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not judging you. I was just as bad as anyone. For me, I was pretending to have jobs and sneaking in through my bedroom window just to keep playing. I would lie about where I was, what I was doing, and create elaborate cover stories. I even pretended to have a job at an internet cafe where I would just be gaming all night instead of working. Imagine how bad it would have felt for my dad when he dropped me off at work, hoping his son was working to become an independent, functional adult. And yet I was straight up lying to his face. It's brutal to think about, really. So here's the thing. When you're lying about something, deep down you know it's a problem. You're not just hiding your gaming from other people. You're trying to hide the reality of your addiction from yourself. Deception is proof that this isn't normal or healthy anymore. Warning sign number 9. Your life is falling apart, but you keep making excuses instead of admitting that gaming is a problem. This is where denial becomes really dangerous because you can see the damage happening around you, but you still refuse to connect it to your gaming habit. This looks like your grades are tanking, but you tell yourself it's because the teachers suck or the classes are boring. Obviously, it's not because you do nothing but play video games instead of studying and doing your homework. It looks like you can't get or keep a job, but you blame society for not giving you a job like you're a little baby. Or obviously, it's your bad boss's fault for the fact that you show up to work completely exhausted from staying up all night fighting with some pixels on a screen. It looks like only having friends online because you've isolated from anyone important in your life. But instead of taking responsibility for your own actions, you convince yourself that other people just don't understand. When in reality, you're constantly choosing to play instead of spending any quality time with the people who matter most. For some of you watching this right now, you're currently doing this at home with your parents. You're basically a leech. I know it sounds harsh, but look in the mirror. What are you contributing? The reality is, at this stage, you see all these problems in your life, but in your mind, they're completely separate from your gaming habit. You've created a mental wall where gaming is just some innocent fun, and everything else going wrong in your life is just bad luck or someone else's fault. And if you're lucky, you might still be just functional enough to be able to make excuses, but you're not quite ready to face the truth. And this brings us to warning sign number 10. That's when you've hit rock bottom and lost things you can't get back. This is where your denial finally breaks because the damage is too big to ignore or explain away. Gaming has already cost you everything. We're talking about permanent, life-altering losses. Maybe you've dropped out of school like I did. Maybe you've been fired from your job and burned bridges you can't rebuild. Maybe the people who genuinely loved you have walked away because they could no longer watch you destroy yourself. Some gaming addicts I've spoken to have even got to the point of living in their car and using the Starbucks Wi-Fi just to keep playing games. They no longer have a house to live, but hey, they got those virtual swords. Personally, I dropped out of high school. I lost jobs. I lost girlfriends who genuinely cared about me. These weren't just setbacks. They were significant losses that affected my future. And here's what's terrifying. Even after losing all of this, I still couldn't stop playing 16 hours a day. It took me almost taking my own life in order to finally wake up. And I don't want that for you. So please hear me when I say this. When you've reached this point, you can't make excuses anymore. You know gaming has destroyed these things, and it's time to pay attention. It's time to make a change. But what if you decide you want to stop gaming and turn your life around? What can you expect to change? How will your life be any different? Is it even worth it? This is the exact question I had 10 years ago, and making this decision was by far the best decision I've ever made in my entire life. So to help you understand the answer to those questions, watch this video on your screen now, and I'll see you there.